Happy Saturday! When we're sheltering at home, we take advantage of our lovely lanai and this gorgeous Central Florida weather. It's about 84 degrees today, and I decided that I thought it would be a good idea to cook with you from outside. So we are grilling and chilling today. Right here I have my husband Ed, who is the grill master, and he has a pork tenderloin and some lobster tails, mini lobster tails on the grill, and we're going to do some special things with those in a little bit. But the first thing I want to show you is the barbecue sauce. Now, about 20 years ago probably, I saw Bobby Flay on the Food Network do this recipe, and it was one of my favorites for a long time until I became paleo. But it has things like regular, grocery store barbecue sauce that has corn syrup and soy sauce and peanut butter, and I thought I could reimagine this recipe to have some things in it that I like to eat now that I'm paleo. And this is a totally Whole30 compliant sauce as well. So what we're going to start with, and one of the things that I wanted to mention, whenever you're doing something in a Roboku or when you're chopping something or mincing and pureeing, is always start with the most solid object or ingredient and then go to the softest or most liquid. So what I'm going to start with here is about a tablespoon of garlic, which I already have minced. And if you don't want to mince it, your food processor could probably do a pretty good job of that for you. And then instead of peanut butter, I have organic almond butter. You could do crunchy or smooth, whatever you have in your pantry. I happen to have smooth today. I like the organic almond butter from Costco. And I'm just going to give those a quick just pulsing it to sort of incorporate that garlic with the almond butter. This is a tablespoon of coarse Dijon mustard, and this is a new item from the new Primal. It's their new coarse Dijon. It has no wine, so it's totally Whole30 approved. And I'm gonna just give that a little whir. And next, some spices. You don't have to add the cayenne, but I have a little cayenne in here just to give it a little kick. I also have some cumin because I like that smoky flavor, and some paprika. Again, starting with the dry and the more solid and working towards the more liquid. Now I have some of the new Primal coconut aminos with the wasabi. It gives everything just that really great Asian flavor. And I'm going to scrape the sides down. If you use a silicone or rubber spatula like this, try not to get it stuck in the blade. I've gotten good at going around the edges without catching the blade. And now I'm just going to give that another pulse. And it's starting to come together very nicely. And now with the machine running, I'm going to add a whole bottle of the new Primal Classic Barbecue Sauce. They just came out with a smoky version. I bet that would be delicious as well, but I wanted to show you the way I do it, and then you can alter it however you like. So with the machine running, I'm just going to add that in. And I'm just going to let it go until it's completely incorporated. So this has a great Asian flair. It caramelizes beautifully on the grill, and we're going to use this on that pork tenderloin. And that's it. You can see it has a nice consistency. You can brush it on, nice body. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit in this bowl so that my husband can put it on the barbecue pork tenderloin without ruining the rest of the batch. And this is ready to go for you, honey. Next, I wanted to show you mango salsa. Mango salsa is a staple here because we have a mango tree. Although my mangoes aren't completely ready yet, I did buy some champagne mangoes at the grocery store. And I've diced them up about 3/4 to 1 inch cubes. And I'm going to show you how to do that because cutting a mango is really much easier than you think. This is a champagne mango. I did scrub it. Just forgot to take the little sticker off. And what you want to do, whether it's this champagne mango or one of the larger green mangoes that eventually starts turning a little red in color, is they have sort of a flat shape. So you want to look for the top area because the pit is actually a flat pit that almost goes edge to edge. So I'm just going to take my knife, I'm going to hold this up like this and slice down probably about 1/2 inch on either side of where I think the pit is. The pit's pretty much going to be dead center, so you can't miss it. And I'm just going to go right down the side of that pit and turn it around and do the other side. And then we'll take this off later so we don't waste any of the flesh. I'm just going to hold it in my hand and very carefully, don't go through the skin because then you'll get yourself. I'm going to make scores of about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, whatever size you think you want your mango salsa to be. Make it a little smaller if it's for tacos. Make it a little bigger if it's for pork tenderloin or grilled steak. And I'm going each direction. And then I'm just going to take standard old soup spoon and I'm going to scoop it right out. I take that spoon and I go right along the edge of the skin on the inside. And that's how you clean a mango. I'll do the other one real quick. And I already have about 3 or 4 of this champagne size mango in the bowl. You can also use the large mangoes and for this recipe do about 2 or 3 of those. Again, just scooping out with the spoon. And there you go. And these are so sweet. And the true test of a perfect mango is when the juice is running up your arm. That's when I know they're at their prime. Now, I'll set this aside so you can see this. Because you can see where the pit is on either side, but it's still got some fleshy areas on here, what I'm going to do is cut the blossom end, just cut that off. And then the skin, once you get a good hold of it, should peel right off all the way around. Unless you rip it. Then go back and do it again. Now I can, at an angle, slice off that extra flesh. And you want to get a good grip on it because they are slippery. And turn it around. And do the same thing on the other side. Because we don't want to waste these delicious mangoes. And now I can just run the knife through those to about the same size as the other pieces and put those back in the bowl. I don't know if you knew this trick. If you have a cutting board that tends to slide around a little bit, well, my whole table's shaking. If you put a damp towel underneath your cutting board, and that's pretty much anywhere where maybe the surface isn't completely solid, it's going to hold that cutting board in place. So now we'll go back to this mango salsa. I have some red and yellow peppers that I've diced up. Some minced onion, about 1/2 cup of each. And I have some little grape tomatoes that I quartered, about 1 cup. If you like tomatoes, add some more. If you don't like tomatoes, leave them out. And I love cumin. in this type of cuisine because it gives it a nice smoky essence. So there's about a tablespoon of cumin in here. Just gonna put that on. And I have a little bit of minced garlic. You don't always have to put the garlic. Sometimes people think fresh garlic is a little strong, but I like it. And I have a lime. If you roll the lime or a lemon a little bit between your hand and the cutting board before you squeeze it, it helps get those juices rolling. And I'm gonna use my juicer because I like to make sure that the seeds don't go in. So I'm just gonna squeeze that lime juice. So the juice of one lime. How are we doing on that grill, honey?
Your lobster tails are almost done.
Oh, perfect. Can you put them on this little shell-shaped dish for me, please? Thank you. So those lobster tails, the mini ones that I have for you today, they take about 12 to 15 minutes to cook, depending on the heat of your grill. You're looking for a nice opaque white flesh with a little bit of pink. And what did you say? You look for that nice bright red on the shell? So the shells are always very dark, almost black. When they turn bright red, that's another good indication that it's cooked. You don't want to overcook the lobster. Thank you. So now I'm just going to toss these ingredients for the mango salsa so far. And that's looking really good. You can get a little salt and pepper in there. And I always use my Maldon sea salt. About a tablespoon. And then I have some fresh cilantro. And I'm going to chop that fresh cilantro too. Oh, you want to see how I cut these peppers? These are the little mini peppers. And this is a good trick to know whether you're cutting a mini pepper or a big pepper. And it keeps all the seeds in one place so you're not chasing them all around your cutting board. Just take off the top. And then if it's really pointy, take off the bottom. So now you have a nice flat surface. And when you see where the connectors are to the outside of the pepper, you're just gonna slice right through that area straight down. And I'm just gonna go around the pepper. And when I'm finished, there's the seeds and the core. All intact, no mess, no seeds everywhere on my cutting board. And I can still use this. If I want to take these ribs out, I can just slice those out. And dice it up. Just like that. Simple. You can do this. I promise.
Almost the barbecue sauce.
Ooh, is the pork getting close?
Well, it's time to put the barbecue sauce on.
Okay, awesome. You've got that sauce right there. One of the things I did with the pork tenderloin before we put it on the grill is I used this New Primal Classic Barbecue Seasoning. This is a brand new product from New Primal. They're one of my partners. They have awesome ingredients. Everything is Whole30 approved. If you're not Whole30, you know it's really healthy and it still tastes great. So I just seasoned the pork and rubbed it in a little bit, about a half an hour before I cooked it. If you don't have that much time, just give it as much time as you can. Before I put the rub, I like to give it a little olive oil, and Casadrinos is one of my other partners, and this is probably one of the best Greek olive oils I've ever had, and I know my Greek olive oil. So I'll give it maybe just a tablespoon to give it some moisture and have the seasoning stick to it. Add the seasoning, let it sit a little bit, and then put it on the grill. So now I have some cilantro. I'm gonna go back to finishing this mango salsa. I'm sorry if I'm not answering your questions. It's really hard to see all the way across. So I will try and get back to you if I can't see. Hey, Justin Messina from Italy. Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. So now I'm just gonna rough chop this cilantro. I bunch it up And you want to make sure you have a really sharp knife when you cut herbs, because if you bruise them, then the oil starts coming out and they get kind of dark and you don't like that. So I'm just bunching it up and I'm going through it. I have my knuckles back and my thumb over here on the side, and the thumb is pushing forward as I slice. And that's pretty much how I chop everything. Take these stems out and keep going. I grow some things in the yard. And I buy some things in the store. So probably about 2 tablespoons of cilantro. You don't like cilantro? Use parsley. And I'm just gonna stir those together. And I'm telling you, I don't eat chips, but if I did eat chips, this salsa would be awesome just with chips. I can smell the mango. It's so bright. And that little bit of cumin giving it a nice smoky flavor. And that's our mango salsa. I'm gonna switch cutting boards.
What temperature you want this meat?
So that's a great question. Let me tell you a little trick about cooking meat on the grill or pretty much any place else. Depending on your desired doneness, you can use your thumb to figure out how done you want your meat. If you just open your hand and push on this fleshy part of your thumb, that's going to be medium rare. So if you go like that on your thumb and then you go like that on your meat, just poke it, and it feels about the same, you know the internal temperature is going to be about medium rare. Put one finger down, gets a little tighter, that's going to be medium. 2 fingers down, medium well, never do the next finger. Medium done is just not good. But anyway, that's how you know. Or you can use a meat thermometer, but we've gotten pretty good at this. So that's what we do when we do anything. Just one of those fun little tricks. So now I'm going to take the shells off of these lobster tails. I have a couple already shelled, but I'm going to do 4 total. So I split them down the middle before I put them on the grill. And now that the meat is cooked, it releases very easily from the shell. Very easily. It peels right out. Just like that. And then I'm just going to chop that up to what I would think would be a nice sized dice for the way I'm serving it. I'm doing lettuce cups with this today, and it makes a great appetizer. You can also use a lettuce leaf, like a romaine leaf, or a brioche bun. I don't do that anymore, but some people in this family still do. And I'm just going to cut it right down the center. And give it a rough chop. I used to love when we would go to Cape Cod and have lobster rolls. So I decided to reimagine lobster rolls in a Paleo Whole30 version. So I'm using Chosen Foods avocado oil mayonnaise. It's made with avocado oil, which is a healthy fat, no hydrogenated fats. And I'm just going to add that to the other. And the other thing that I think is really kind of fun to give a little twist to this recipe is if you don't want to serve it cold, you can add the mayonnaise and other ingredients to the warm lobster meat, and then you can have a warm appetizer. But it is good chili as well. So now I'm going to add a little bit of celery, about a 1/4 cup. And just a hit of sriracha. That's optional, but we like a little heat. I'm going to cut this lemon in half. And just about 2 or 3 tablespoons, because I've found if you put too much lemon juice, it makes the mayonnaise kind of loose and you may not want it to be runny. And then I'm just gonna put about a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. If you like more mayonnaise, put more mayonnaise. And I'm just gonna stir those together. It's just enough mayonnaise to hold it together and not hide the flavor of the lobster. Grilling the lobster just gives it a really great additional dimension to the flavor. If you don't have a grill or you want to stay inside, you can just do it in the oven. If you don't want to grill lobster or you don't want to buy lobster tails, you can buy canned crab meat and do the same recipe.
And don't forget, sometimes before you put the mayonnaise in, you can put it on the grill and warm it up and make it a hot one too.
Correct. Little salt and pepper. And I have some chives from my yard. Just gonna dice up a little bit of these chives. Don't worry, the lobster was cooked, so I'm not cross-contaminating. If you don't have chives, but you like scallions, you can add scallions. You can add white onion, yellow onion, Vidalia onion, whatever you have on hand, whatever you prefer. None of these recipes are exact. I'm just gonna stir those in. And this is how I'm gonna plate these up. I have these little Boston lettuce leaves that I'm gonna use like cups. Not sure if you can see those. Let's do this. And I'm just gonna mound up the salad inside each of these little lettuce cups.
Let me cover this.
Yes, that looks amazing. And that is how I do my lobster cups. And you can just pick it up like that and eat it. It's a fun finger food. It's a little messy, but anything good is going to be a little messy, right? Lastly, you gonna let that rest?
Yep.
Okay. Gonna see if I have any questions. So, as you may know, I've been a Whole30 certified chef for a couple of months, but I've been actually coaching unofficially for a few years. About 5 years ago, I changed my diet to paleo because of some health reasons, and it really helped me clean up my act. So after being a pastry chef for almost 20 years, I'm not cooking with sugar anymore. I do have a few paleo baking recipes up my sleeve, and I may share with you at one point, but today we're gonna just focus on being outside. It's a lovely day. So this pork is rested. I like to let it rest for about 3 minutes, but I think you'll get the idea if I show it to you now. And Ed went ahead and put that BBQ sauce on, so it looks perfect. And you can always serve it with a little sauce on the side as well. Don't do that here.
What?
Don't do that here.
It's my reward.
Just don't do it on camera. He brought a bun out. Honestly, he's sabotaging me. If you're doing a Whole30, do not let the family members sabotage you. You can see this pork is a perfect color. We're just gonna slice this up. Messed up my platter. It's not camera ready. You know, I don't like a lot of gadgets. I don't like a lot of crazy tools. I've got the ones that I really rely on, and my knives are very important to me. This pork is the perfect color. I'm ready for dinner. Is it delish? Delish and nutrish? So here's that pork all ready to serve, and I'm just gonna spoon some of this mango salsa right over the top. The cool, sweet mango pairs beautifully with the spices of the barbecue and a little bit of heat from the peppers. And that's the grilled pork. So we did grilled pork, lobster salad. We made a amped up Asian fusion barbecue sauce. And we did these beautiful lettuce cups as an appetizer. Pop open your favorite beverage, preferably non-alcoholic if you're doing Whole30. Don't forget to look for me online at livingdeliciousnutrish.com. I have all of these recipes on my website. Also on Instagram, I'm Living Delicious Nutrish, and here on Facebook. So thanks for joining me. Enjoy your Saturday. I hope you're experiencing this kind of gorgeous weather too, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.